a small village nestled at the foot of towering mountains, there was a young boy named Arjun who dreaded the night. As soon as the sun began to set, a wave of fear would wash over him. The shadows seemed to whisper, and the darkness held secrets that made his heart race. One evening, after an argument with his father, Arjun sat alone in his room, shaking with anxiety. He was surrounded by the stillness of the night, but the darkness felt suffocating. It was then that his grandfather entered the room, holding a flickering candle. "Why are you afraid, Arjun?" his grandfather asked, his voice calm. Arjun's eyes widened with confusion and fear. "But Grandpa, the dark is full of unknown things. It's terrifying." His grandfather smiled softly, sat beside him, and lit the candle. "Come, let me show you something that will change the way you see the night." The grandfather held up the candle, its flame dancing in the quiet room. "Do you see this light, Arjun?" he asked. "Yes, Grandpa," Arjun replied, still uneasy. The old man suddenly blew out the candle. The room plunged into complete darkness. Arjun felt his heart race. The room became cold and silent, and the night seemed to grow louder. Arjun's fear crept back. "What do you feel now?" his grandfather asked, his voice cutting through the silence. Arjun's voice trembled. "I'm scared, Grandpa. It's too dark. I can't see anything." His grandfather lit the candle again. The flame flickered, and the room filled with light. Arjun's fear began to fade as the shadows retreated. "The light is like hope, Arjun," the grandfather explained. "When we're in darkness, fear grows. But when we bring light, hope pushes away the shadows." "But Grandpa, the dark always comes back," Arjun said, his eyes still uncertain. "I can light the candle, but the dark always returns." The grandfather nodded thoughtfully. "Yes, Arjun, but that's the secret. Just like the dark cannot exist where there is light, fear cannot stay when there is hope." Arjun's mind raced. "So, the dark will always return? But what about the fear?" His grandfather rose from his seat. "Let's go outside, Arjun. Follow me." They stepped into the garden, where the air was thick with the chill of a moonless night. The clouds concealed the stars, and the darkness surrounded them. Arjun looked around, nervous and curious. "See the darkness here?" his grandfather said, pointing to the shadows that stretched across the garden. "Now, watch carefully." The old man placed the candle on the ground and let the flame flicker. As the wind blew, the darkness seemed to shrink around the light, creating a small circle of warmth. Arjun stared, amazed. "Why does the light push the dark away like that?" His grandfather smiled. "The darkness is not to be feared, Arjun. It's the unknown. But when we face it with light, hope, positivity, the darkness loses its power." Arjun's eyes widened in realization. "So, even if the dark comes back, I don't have to be afraid?" The grandfather nodded. "Exactly. Each time you face your fears, the light will grow stronger, and the shadows will fade." Arjun's thoughts raced. But what if the light goes out? What then? His grandfather handed him the candle. "Blow it out, Arjun." Confused, Arjun took a deep breath and blew the flame out. Once again, the world was swallowed by darkness. But this time, Arjun's heart didn't race. The darkness was still there, but it no longer seemed threatening. The grandfather placed a gentle hand on Arjun's shoulder. "Now you see. Even when the light fades, it's still inside you. The light isn't just in the candle. It's in you, in your heart." Arjun smiled, understanding finally dawning. "So, even when the light is gone, it's still inside me?" "Exactly," his grandfather said, his eyes gleaming. "No matter how dark it gets, the light within you can always shine." Arjun stood there, no longer afraid. "Life is like the night, Arjun," his grandfather continued. "It will have its shadows. But remember, just like a candle in the dark, you have the power to face your fears with the light of hope, courage, and positivity." No darkness can last forever when you have the light within you. Did Arjun's story inspire you? If you're ready to face your own fears with the light of hope, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories that inspire courage and positivity. Remember, the light of hope is always within you. Never let the darkness make you forget it.